Going to the moon. We're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. One day, very soon, gonna wake up on the moon. Brand new yacht and a McDonald's in my living room. Bright yellow Lamborghini, 50-meter swimming pool. Champagne every day, ain't fam, what you do? Wanna hang, wanna chill? Oh, you got a mansion too? Oh, that's right, held on tight, jack titties every night. We was in way back when they tried to chop it down to 10. And just couldn't comprehend, ace was strong until the end. Now let's retell it, citadel that be sweating. Had enough of these felons, but the apes we rebelling. Cause we never be selling, till we sent it to heaven. Now we be out here yelling, hey, screw you, Kenny! Bought my wife a minivan to share with the boyfriend. But I pull up in the Benz, plate saying olive crayons. Going on an airplane, don't think we'll be back again. Celebrating every day like it's your birthday. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Today's expectation, probably more manipulation. FUD, a creation of a crooked operation. Bought more while it was low, got more dips than Trader Joe's. Oh, you thought that we'd let go? What the hell you take us for? Holla if you spend your last dollar on bananas while living in squalor. We don't claim to be scholars, we the smooth brain dummies, and we never stood taller. Yeah, we do this for love and we do this for honor. Apollo 11 ain't got nothing on us. We the planet of the apes and in MOAS we trust. MOASS, oh hell yes. Gonna send it into space, go fire up the jets. Done my DD, call me Elton John, Rocket Man. This is the way, gonna be gorillionaires. Ground control to Major Tom, we about to have liftoff. Call us Neil Armstrong, gonna keep holding on. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. Screw Kenny, cause we're holding on for dear life, getting them tendies so soon. Don't be mistaken, the apes won't be shaking or breaking because we're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon. We're going to the moon.
Moon gang, hello. What is going on? Happy Thursday, October 21st. I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it is for you. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day. We here on the East Coast of the US, we're just getting rocking. We're getting rocking, waiting for the market to open up in about 30 minutes, kind of seeing what's going on because we kind of know throughout the past week, things have been very green, very green. And the question is it going to continue? We're going to take a little bit more of a breather, but we've seen a lot of green, a lot of opportunity. We have some earnings coming in. We obviously have always, it seems like day over day, we have developments worth our moon stocks. It seems like this week, the one that stole the cake was Gamestop in relation to its Gamestop, the GME SEC report, which I know let a lot of us down. I want to talk about that a little bit. Crypto, all-time highs. It seems like Bitcoin namely leading the charge, but now we have ETH picking up. As you could see, it recently hit 4,350, and now it's almost turning into a little bit of altcoin season. So a couple things to talk about there. Specifically, Solana and Matic have been looking very good, but like I said, a lot of altcoins slowly like kind of coming up, almost like they were running on a little bit of a delay. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's moving, like time for us to move, like an awkward delay. But even with that, Bitcoin's still very, very high, trading at 65,000, hitting 67,000. We have some interesting price targets that are coming out from some people who are at crypto-based hedge funds, analysts. A lot of people talking about that six figures of BTC hitting 100K. So quite a few things to talk about. We'll be doing a breakdown of the overall market, our favorite moon stocks, and then we'll be talking about crypto, and maybe we have some other news or whatever questions you have at that point. But let's get rocking. Let's set a little bit of a foundation for the day. But before we get going with that, if you could help me out, I would truly appreciate it. As you come in here, if you guys could all annihilate that like button, that type of engagement just helps get this video served to other people. I'm already seeing messages that they are not getting the notification. So like, I guess we're just battling it out, obviously, day over day with the algorithm. So if you could drop that like, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want to join up with the Moon Gang, we talk about stocks, cryptos, options, futures, various rands day in and day out. I do appreciate it. And with that being said, let's hop into it. Let's figure out what's going on today. Dow set to drop after hitting an intraday record. So with this, it's basically just calling out that things have been very, very green. I mean, look at this run in the S&P 500. I know it's not the Dow, but they are closely related. Looks like it's coming down a little bit, but remember, we've kind of seen these things before where there's almost weakness for that first 30 minutes. People buy at the base and then we push. Now, I mean, obviously the momentum, the bullish momentum, the apish momentum in the overall market is tough to deny right now, but maybe the technicals finally just got so hot that it needs to take a breather. Remember, there are 3 gaps below where we're currently at on the S&P 500 that I would strongly argue one day will be filled. So we have one gap at 450.74, might be filling that today. We have another gap at 447.55. We have another gap at 442.66. Excuse me. We have 4 different gaps, one at 436.05. So we have all these various gaps that, hey, me really getting into the data of the market and statistics and what is the likely play, I can tell you, especially when it comes to the Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the odds of gap fills are extraordinarily high. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily filled the next day, the next week, the next month. Like sometimes it does take time. But at this point, I'm going to be bullish on the overall market, basically just because I don't see too many negative headwinds that we're running into, and the seasonality right now is very bullish, really till the first week in January. Of course, there's a couple of hiccups like around Thanksgiving, but from now until Thanksgiving, seasonally, it is bullish. So maybe we have a little bit of some pullbacks, but if I see any of these major gap fills, maybe 442, would love to try to pay the bounce off of that. A lot of this reasoning, like, I mean, of course, every day I just want to remind you that, like, we're not in some extraordinary hyperinflationary environment, but for the Federal Reserve to say that inflation is transitory, that's laughable. It is absolutely laughable. Everything's going up. When's the last time you filled your car? Gasoline's going up, oil is going up, coal is going up, milk is going up, all forms of meat are going up, chemicals are going up. We have supply chain issues, low supply, high demand. There's still all those boats stuck in the Pacific off of LA, Long Beach. There are various issues, and with it, you're kind of seeing people. Historically, one of the best ways to go risk off and kind of battle inflation was to invest in gold. But right now, when you have Bitcoin specifically, aka digital gold, kind of really hitting a mass amount of adoption. And on top of that, it happens right around the time that ProShares comes out with their ETF, as in it's getting a lot more positive sentiment. It's being approved, obviously, by SEC from a regulatory standpoint. Now a bunch of IRA money has access to get into crypto. Things are on the up and up. So if you're looking at Bitcoin, not necessarily because you like it, but you just don't want to lose value in your USD, I mean, crypto, it's interesting, and a lot of people are just pointing out Bitcoin as digital gold. So some interesting is going on there. So we talked about the SPY. This is the tech-heavy NASDAQ. Same thing, a little bit of weakness this morning. And IWM, same thing, but I still really like this structure. So recently, in terms of the last week, we've seen that the Dow, the SPY, and the Nasdaq has all really run. The one that's been lagging behind is the Russell 2000, but this is still a very nice setup. You could call it a W, you could call it a cup and handle, you could call it a wedge, whatever it is. There's three very obvious technical structures. I'm just excited to see if the Russell 2000 can break above 227, 228, and really get pushing. That would be exciting, namely because AMC is the largest stock within it. And remember, GME used to be in it, but it was had such a considerable market cap in May that when they rebalanced it, they moved it to the S&P 400 mid cap. They do those rebalancings about once a year. Just be careful with this. Similar to the Nasdaq, similar to the SPY, it does have a gap region below it. This one's from October 13th, and that high is 222.70. Like I said, eventually I would bet that this gap is going to be filled, which is potentially a money-making opportunity depending on how it does or doesn't play out. So that's very quickly what's going on in the overall market. A lot of the S&P 500 is getting moved by big earnings announcements. Yesterday, we had Tesla. Before that, we had a bunch of banks. We had a bunch of health insurance companies. Yesterday, after the market closed, Netflix was before the market opened. After it, we had Tesla, and now we also had Southwest American. Just it's earnings season. A bunch of companies are reporting how they did in the previous fiscal quarter, and obviously a lot of them have been doing well because the market's going higher, higher, higher. The one last night, a bit of a mixed bag. So let's talk about Southwest, trades under LUV, and then American, AAL. Southwest on Thursday reported a third quarter profit thanks to a boost from the federal payout aid. The carrier posted a per share loss of 23 cents, which was like less of a loss than expected, and similar tune with American. So actually, excuse me, I misspoke. I said that these two reported. Tesla reported after the market closed yesterday. The airlines reported before the market, like they reported this morning. Same thing. They profit thanks to the government and a loss of 99 cents, but that loss was still narrower than expected. Tesla reported yesterday, beat on earnings, revenue, delivered lots more cars. Tesla delivered about 73% more vehicles than it had in the same quarter a year ago, despite citing a variety of challenges, including semiconductor shortages, right there, supply chain issues, and rolling blackouts. Tesla reiterated prior guidance that it expects to, quote unquote, achieve 50% average annual growth in vehicle deliveries. So that's our boy Elon, who right now also doing pretty well with the fact that a lot of Tesla's book is in BTC, like a considerable. Remember, Tesla and MicroStrategy, specifically MicroStrategy, has a lot of Bitcoin on their book instead of USD. And obviously with the run in Bitcoin, that's going to be just beneficial to the stock's value. WeWork to go public in a SPAC deal at much lower valuation. So if you forget this entire WeWork debacle, I can't say it's like a Theranos level, but he's ousted now. The old CEO, I believe is Newman. I think it's Jack Newman. It was crazy. He was trying to pitch WeWork, which is basically just a very fancy real estate company. He was trying to pitch it as a tech company. Very charismatic fella, very strange, all these idiosyncrasies. There's various documentaries on how the entire WeWork debacle just like blew up. Very, very strange story, but he was basically getting it to have a tech evaluation as in that multiple when it was really just like a leasing real estate one. And it was a multi-billion-dollar issue for SoftBank. Like it was a huge problem. Well, I guess WeWork now, like I said, the old CEO, Jack Newman, is out. He even though he got kicked out for doing crazy stuff, still a billionaire. His parachute package was insane. It is one of the craziest business stories of the past decade. Worthwhile to check into. It values at $9 billion, and at one point in 2019, it was $47 billion. It was just a monster that got out of control. No one was fact checking it. I actually believe one of the first things I ever saw, because everyone was hype about this company, they were treating it as a unicorn tech company when it wasn't that at all. And then I believe it was, who was it? Kevin O'Leary, maybe? Mr. Wonderful? I think it was him who said, when he first saw it, he's like, if the real estate sector ever goes south, this company blows up. And obviously the real estate sector went pretty bad there for a bit in terms of business rentals with the pandemic. A crazy story, worthwhile to look into. So this is a fancy way for me to saying I'm avoiding this. I just don't really want to hold on to it. Like, oh, it was instead of Jack Newman, sorry, it was Adam Newman, my bad. Adam Newman. It might be fine now that it seems like to be at a reasonable valuation, but just like with this crazy story, I don't really want to mess around with it. On top of that, SPACs have kind of, I guess, lost their flair. These special acquisition companies, it's a very, very quick way for a company to go public opposed to an IPO or direct listing. They were the hot buzz in 2020. One of the main guys who's been pushing them was Chamath Palihapitiya, but they have seen to like somewhat like they've lost a little bit of their luster. Like they're just not as hype as they were last year. Number 5, Trump announces a social media platform launch plan, a SPAC deal. Now, their SPAC deal, so the former president, I guess he's getting into the world of social media. I would assume he's still upset about getting kicked off all social media. Didn't he get kicked off everything recently? So it seems like he is trying to get his own going. I don't know much about it. This is actually the first time hearing, but hey, let's see how it ends up playing out. One interesting thing for the overall market, U.S. jobless claims total 290,000 versus 300,000. So it seems like in terms of these job reports, slowly but surely they are getting a bit better. But it's weird because at least from the numbers from like August, September, we're seeing a mass amount of people quitting their job. So jobless claims coming in better than we expected. But then when you look at people who are like literally just quitting, they're like, you know what? I don't want this job. That number is staggering. So in terms of the labor market, a couple different things are really way out there. Right there, so it beat by 10,000. So somewhat of a positive news. Obviously, we got to talk about crypto. We have to because Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high yesterday. To everyone watching right now who is in any form whatsoever invested in any crypto coin and or token, congratulations. You're most likely very, very green. So Bitcoin right now, 65,000. At one point, it was valued over $1.25 trillion, which is still about a tenth of gold. So if you're comparing just of like what could it go to, if you're just trying to do apples to apples and being like, I think Bitcoin is gold, and of course that's going to involve a big macroeconomic debate, but I'm just saying right there, like if you're just using overall gold as a comparison, hey, it still is the argument that there's quite a bit of upside. And actually I do have some price targets for you. I just want to point out Ethereum, almost $500 billion right now. Ethereum doing very, very good. Cardano finally picking up around 225. I honestly think this thing should be at 3, and I'm hoping by the end of 2022 it's more than 5. But today I want to spend a little bit of time talking about Solana because it's ripping right now, ripping. Over the past 24 hours, Solana is up 16%, and it's one that I'm invested in. Actually, all the ones I've just talked about, I am in myself, just for the point of transparency. I like crypto. I think it's going to go higher and higher and higher. And then the other one, where is Matic? Where is Polygon on this list? 21, also having a nice push recently. So I want to talk about those just specifically, but like as you can see, a lot of green going on in crypto. It's just the enthusiasm. Bitcoin is the equivalent. It's the main, if we're to compare it to stocks, it is that it's the equivalent of Apple. It's the biggest one in the game, and it's a rising tide raises all ships type of an argument. All right, so let's talk about where Bitcoin can go, because right now it's been on this crazy rip. Not long ago, literally at the start of October, if you never heard of crypto before in your life and you're like, hey, this thing sounds cool, I'm going to buy it on October 1st, you would already have a 50% return. Like you didn't even have to be like some hardcore. Well, of course, if you got into BTC, like sub 1,000, you're ecstatic. But I'm just saying you could have been involved for 3 weeks and you could have made a 50% return on your money. And I strongly believe that this is not the end of BTC in the short term. I really, really don't. And that's for a couple reasons. From a regulatory standpoint, the U.S. is being more friendly with it. We see that in the ETF, and we're still looking for Valkyrie to maybe come out with their Bitcoin futures ETF this week. And there's a couple other in the pipeline, and Grayscale's coming out with that physically delivered direct ownership, hopefully by the end of this year, and that would trade under GBTC. So just a lot of acceptance, accessibility. A lot of people who don't have a crypto wallet, exchange, account, anything like that. Well, now that there's an ETF, especially when this Grayscale one goes live, accessibility, more money flowing into crypto, and a lot, the IRA situation, these retirement accounts, at least in the US, is over $12 trillion. Imagine if even 0.5% of that IRA money flows into crypto. So there's where some demand can come from. But I think other demand could just come from the fact of all these numbers we're seeing are representative of inflation. So the stronger argument that people see for Bitcoin. So we see the enthusiasm of it going up. And as people dive into it, they're going to all they hear from mainstream media and even from ding dong YouTube channels like this guy, inflation, 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 battle inflation. They're like, well, how could I do that? Gold or Bitcoin? Okay, let's try out this Bitcoin thing that's ripping like crazy. So right now, 65,000. I think we're going higher in the short term. Ethereum looking great. It seems like in the last bar, we had some volatility right here, but now we're trading at 4,200. Ethereum ripping higher. Very, very close to an all-time high. If we scroll out right here, what is the all-time high? It's around 40. Hang on, why is this not giving it to me? 40 something, 4,400, just below 4,500. 43.24. So we are in spitting distance of a new Ethereum all-time high. Exciting stuff. So those are the two main ones I just showed you on CoinMarketCap, the two biggest ones. It goes Bitcoin leading the way, ETH number 2. But the big question is, where can this go? A lot of people, if you're like, hey, Matt, I get this Bitcoin thing. I hear you rambling on about inflation, whatever. Please, what is going on? Where could this possibly go short to medium term? Please, Duck Boy, give me the numbers. Well, of course, there's a little bit of prediction here, but let's rely on some of these people who are the fancy schmancy analysts. And this is coming from Ben Caslin, head of research and strategy for crypto exchange AAX. Bitcoin breaking its all-time high was a long time coming and had been in the making ever since the asset shed 50% of its value in May. He now expects the price to rocket past 100,000, which is a growing number of market analysts are penciling in as their new price target. So you have quite a few analysts going, hey, 6 figures. That's incredible. That's still what? That's still a 66% gain from where we are right now. All right, moving on, the same guy. All eyes are set on 100K mark, but when retail does rush in and more funds open up to Bitcoin, including physically backed ETFs, 100K is unlikely to be the end of it. So physically backed, that's what I'm talking about with the spot ETF. Instead of buying Bitcoin futures, the ones that can directly buy Bitcoin, the main one, the first one that we might be seeing of that is once again Grayscale. Keep your eyes out on that. All right, a couple other people. Chief Operating Officer at Stack Funds, Matthew Dibb, he was commenting on the Pro shares. He also said our next target on spot BTC is 80K in the short term. Right now we're trading at 65. That's a nice $15,000 gain in the short term. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bitcoin climb towards 100K during Q4 of 2021 or Q1 of 2022. Just so everyone knows, we're in Q4 of 2021, as in he's not surprised if we see this quarter or next quarter. But with being very, very bullish, of course, not everything. We don't live in a world that la land of everything being good, green, no risk at all. You do have some things to consider. One risk is that soaring oil and natural gas prices might lead to extra scrutiny over Bitcoin's network's energy usage. So right now, a lot of people are calling out the environmental impact of crypto and crypto mining. And that's a very real thing to consider. And in the past, when that has taken social media by storm, we have seen certain cryptos get hit. And with that, just like, and I could go on this about later, it does seem as if there are some pretty good alternatives in terms of environmental impact, with Cardano being one of the main ones. Governments might take harsh stances if this winter leads to shortfalls in energy across several countries, and that could mess with the hash rate. So right there, that is something very, very fair to consider. All right, let me very quickly just show you oil to kind of give you an idea of where you could check it out on this CL. CL is the futures market for light crude oil. So when you hear of gas for like a gallon per barrel, this is what we're talking about. We're at $83. In fact, it just hit a new high already in the overnight session of $83.96. So it looks like we're about to clear $84 a barrel. So yes, energy expensive. So oil is high, natural gas is high, coal is high. A lot of energy is very, very expensive right now. So I think that's a pretty reasonable argument. We already spoke a little bit. All right, so that's Bitcoin looking good. It just is taking a technical breather. I think in the short term, medium term, long terms, as of right now, morning of October 21st, I am bullish on all of the major cryptos. I mean, obviously, Ethereum doesn't need to do I need to say anything about it? Just look at the chart right now. Remember, I think of Bitcoin as a store of value, a digital gold. Ethereum is much more of a utility. That's when we're talking about DeFi, dApps, NFTs. It's much more of an advanced technology that people are building all these other things off of. It's impressive. And the one hit against Ethereum, it does have mass adoption. I think it just becomes even stronger when it successfully switches over from proof of work to proof of stake, but still a very, very strong utility coin. And then we do see some other competitors in that arena, such as Cardano, that is proof of stake, and it already has all of those smart contracts. They are live with that. Very, very interesting. But like I said, proof of stake, it is a better consensus model. And then we have Solana, another one that some people have tried to dub the Ethereum killer. It's in that realm of Cardano where it's highly competitive with Ethereum. Maybe I shouldn't say highly competitive, but let's say competitive. So Sol right here, look at this. This run from 155 up to 190. Previously, it's traded at 220-ish to 216, I suppose. Look at this breakout, double breakout running. Right now, it's at resistance in the 190s. And then I want to see this break of 200 in a run to a new all-time high. But once again, this is in the world of being a utility coin. So if you look up the consensus model, they're going to tell you proof of history. That's not really a consensus model. It is proof of stake, similar to Cardano, but it's a little bit of a twist on it where when they're doing all the updates from a technology standpoint, all the timestamps are there. So they argue that it makes it more efficient, and it does. But it's technically proof of stake, but you're going to hear proof of history as well. And just so you know, that's proof of stake, but they're always sending in with their blocks the timestamps, and it's just a technology improvement. The other thing to me that looks very, very interesting right now is Matic network, Polygon. It's basically improving Ethereum, because right now one of the biggest issues with Ethereum is it's expensive. It's not necessarily the fastest, but with Matic, that's improving it. We're going from, about 15 transactions. This helps it scale up to potentially tens of thousands. So Matic kind of going to be intertwined with Ethereum. The most recent fundamental development with Polygon with Matic is that it opened up on South Korean exchanges. Also, when they did that, they increased their own transaction fee just to help battle some of the spam that was going on the network. That's some of the most recent stuff. But from a charting perspective, look at all four of these things. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Matic, all looking very, very strong. And I'm not just saying exclusively these four, it's just the best thing to show right now. Look at Cardano, ADA right here. Also looking good, up to 225, looking for the breakout of 230, 240. We have Sheeb at 28, looking for that breakout of 30. Hex disappointing me a little bit right now. I'd prefer that it gets over 30. Obviously, the higher the better. But right now, just in general, it's very, very easy to be a crypto bull. Here we have Solana, just if you want to check it out, see what it's all about. Very, very well-respected project. I'm in it myself. I like it. I think it has a very, very bright future. Basically, all of these different blockchains that have smart contracts and are either proof of stake or are looking to be proof of stake. I'm talking about Solana, Cardano, and Ethereum. I'm in it. I like it. I just really believe in the future of where all these are going. And then Polygon, remember, because I am a fan of Ethereum, if you're a fan of Ethereum, there's a pretty good argument that you're going to be a fan of Polygon. It just helps it scale. So interesting stuff there. Not necessarily my favorite, but I still very much like it. All right, now let's talk about our moon stocks. So AMC right now, they've already borrowed 353,000 shares against it. estimating the short interest to be 16.7%. Obviously, we will be checking that throughout the day. Utilization 86%, shares on loan 106.8 million. And right now we're seeing a little bit of a drop, but this is still sky high. The average age of these shares being on loan coming in at 73 days. And just remember, that means that they're paying a pretty hefty cost to borrow. These fees are based on an annual rate, so you would split it up per day by the amount of trading days in the year. But still, when you're talking about 107 million and then that fee, like, it adds up every single little day. Definitely something to pay attention to. On the other hand, we have Gamestop's, which is popping back up. It's now 47.5 days. The utilization 87%, shares on loan 8.33 million, and the estimated short interest is 11.65%. Not much of a movement thus far today. In terms of the AMC and GME chart, so AMC, couple things to talk about. It was range bound. It was boring. It wasn't doing anything. It was low volume. It was low volatility. We finally got this pop from October 13th all the way up until October 18th. So we had this nice 4 green day move, and then we had a red day, a technical breather, and then we had a very, very boring day yesterday. Once again, low volume, low volatility. But now look at this. Instead of settling around 37, we settled around 41. We're looking for this breakout, namely a 41.85. From there, I want to see that push to 44.20, which was this gap fill that we had on October 19th, but that's resistance. I was calling it out as resistance. It ended up staying as resistance. So we want to see if we can gather enough momentum, which we have right now. Look at the MACD, a lot of bullish, a lot of apish momentum. We want to see if we could develop the momentum and get the break above 44.20. And then from there, especially if it happens today, would love to see the test of this trend line around 47. In terms of GME, similar situation. In fact, it actually had some momentum for longer. It was moving from October 6th, basically up until the 19th, got smacked at 190, clear level of supply for GameStop at that level, 190. Got smacked, probably just taking a technical breather. Same thing as AMC. We want to see how long this momentum can be sustained for. I'd rather find support as quickly as we can and then try to get another test. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th test of this 190. Would love to see then a test of 196 and really looking for the breakout of the key psychological level of 200. I think that would really be some of the GameStop apes flexing. And in terms of AMC, that equivalent level would kind of be that 47, because after that, of course, we'll watch 50, but I want to see what happens to 53, which was the high from mid-September. So overall, we have very exciting stuff going on. Very, very exciting stuff going on. We see AMC and GME doing their things. We see crypto moving. The markets have been on a crazy run lately. Politically, things have been a bit quiet lately. They're talking about some things, but I saw over there in China, Evergrande, either it's rumored or they officially did default on their payments. So, but that itself is falling to the wayside. So just some things to go on. But right now, ding, 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 the casino is open. Let's see how the market opens right here. All right, let's get going for the day. Dingity ding ding ding. All right, as we see how the market wants to open up today, let me get to some of your questions right now, because it helps me sit on my hands and not make any dumb decisions in those first 15, 20, 30 minutes. How can I invest in the market going forward? I hate to be negative, but it seems more obvious than ever it is rigged against the little guy. Rigged against the little guy. I would agree with that. I truly would agree with that. But it's not rigged to such a degree that you can't make money. It means you need to be more patient, better understand the game, and understand where your opportunities arise. There are people who are professional traders for their own account. That doesn't mean you're trading every day. You're waiting around like a sniper. You're some hyper aggressive, like big cat, and you're just stalking your prey. You just wait for your opportunities. Is it rigged against the little guy? Yes. Is it rigged to such a degree that you cannot be profitable? Absolutely not. There are many, many individual retail traders who are hyper profitable. You just have to understand the types of trades that you can really, I guess, capitalize on to help your own P&L. What's going on? Carlos, 5 months. I appreciate that. Wall Street Viking, guess who showed up on the threshold list? That's right, my boy PROG. Happy 5 months, Matt. Let's get after it. What's going on, Wall Street Viking? What's PROG at right now? PROG is at 270. PROG still a very alive play. Wait for that to recapture $3, and I think you could see some fireworks from there. It's 37. It's 145 calls for AMC. 145 calls for AMC. Jonathan, I'm not quite sure what your question is there. If you have like, maybe I missed a previous one. If you want, feel free to follow up with the mod and they can get it to me. What do you think about HX? Let me write that down and I'll come back to it. I have not heard of HX. Morning, Matt. Know you have a lot to cover, but when you're free, check out the video post on Twitter. I tagged you. I'm having Brown. Love the channel. Okay, I'll do that during break today. I'm having Brown. All right, let me write this down. Don't want to forget. Way easier for me to take notes. Matt, thoughts on DWAC was 938 last night, now over 12. Yeah, isn't that the SPAC that the former President Trump is trying to go with his like social media, right? What do I think about Sheeb in the 4 hour? It just needs to recapture 30. I mean, it's holding strong. It's at 28, recapture 30, sets up 32, from there 36, and then from there it could just get like very exciting. Very exciting. Matt, if I can't trade on dark pools, why can't my shares get rerouted through them? Is that why it's important to emphasize off exchange? Hey, Matt, if I can't trade on dark pools, you can trade on dark pools. You can't trade on all dark pools, but if you have something like Interactive Brokers, Fidelity, TDA, there's a route option to a dark pool. Why can my shares get rerouted through them? So if you're doing payment for order flow and the market maker does not want to take it, they can send it really wherever they want in terms of best execution, and that might be a dark pool. Is that why it's important to emphasize off exchange? So it's important to emphasize off exchange because off exchange is two different silos. It's market maker, internalizers, retail wholesalers, whatever you want to call them, and dark pools. That is the umbrella of off exchange. Market makers and dark pools, and then those are two different types of venues that are still both off exchange. And then you have on exchange trading, which is 16 major lit exchanges. I would argue like kind of 12 of them are the big ones, but that's all lit exchange. That's on exchange trading. And then there's very valid arguments of off exchange trading. They don't play by the same rules, a little less regulated. There is strong arguments that it hampers price discovery. There's various things that are going on, and I'm just a fan of trading on a lit exchange because it's more regulated, it's more transparent, and there are strong arguments that it helps with price discovery in terms of better competition. So of course I'm going to be a fan of that. I hope that answers. Is that why it's important to emphasize off exchange? Off exchange is the two. Just so you know, many people are overstating dark pools. I see stats of dark pool trading 60, 70, 80%. What they mean is off exchange. They don't mean dark pools. I don't know. I think people are getting a little bit confused on what that data means. A lot of it, at least when I last checked it for the month of September, when you looked at off exchange trading, like that subgroup of it, a high majority of it was market makers, which is still off exchange and not dark pools. A lot of people are conflating off exchange trading to be exclusively dark pools when that's not necessarily the case. DWAC could be fun to watch. News today that they have partnered with Trump to launch his social network. Very well could be DWAC. Let's see, is it moving? Let's see if there's a money-making opportunity. ATER. What is ATER currently trading at? ATER 950. I mean, ATER is a very alive play, in my humble opinion, whenever it's above 915. And right now it's trading at 950. It's up 1.5%. ATER looks like it's having itself a day. Can you explain what high frequency trading is? So high frequency trading is more so of an umbrella term. Most of the time when you're hearing about it, people are referring to, it's a very low level in terms of code. It's very advanced hardware. And what they're looking to do is take advantage of people who are slow in the market. High frequency trading is it's in the game of microseconds, in the game of nanoseconds. They're not getting into a position and hoping it goes up over the next day or two. They're saying, hang on, because of this fancy algorithm we built, we see that this pension fund is sending in an order to buy 1 million shares of stock X at this price. So they quickly go out, try to find it for a little bit cheaper and sell it to them. It's just the game of speed, and they're taking the advantage of latency. High frequency traders think that they can be faster than everyone, and they are faster than everyone. And they use algorithms to see where trades are coming in and out, and they try to race everyone to those points, and they're front running people. When you hear about front running, that's a lot of high frequency trading, but more so that's what people are referring to. It is an umbrella term. For example, market making is a type of high frequency trading. Like there are various like types of high frequency trading, but in the most general sense, think about people who are very, very fast, and they are taking advantage of people who are slow. Like even this, like when you click buy, like it's slow. Like you type it in, you hit the button, it loads for a second. High frequency trading, it's trading in and out before you can blink. What's the story with SNDL? I hear Lou talk about it a lot. I don't listen to Lou whatsoever. So I don't know. I know SNDL is a Marinera stock. I'm bullish on that industry, but my favorite one is Tilray because it's just the biggest. It has the most name recognition. So I'm just waiting for federal legalization. How do you feel about coin miners like CLSK, been in and out, but thinking time to go long? I'm not the biggest fan of miners. If I were to be a fan of a miner, it would be ANY, just because I think there's an opportunity for the stock to get squeezed. But beyond that, I'm just going to play crypto directly. I see no particular advantage of doing a miner when miners go up, when crypto goes up. But on top of that, you have the risk of interbusiness competition. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just going to play crypto directly. What are my thoughts on Watt? Let me write that down. WATT. Hey Matt, can you take a look at Binance USBTC chart? It was pretty scary wick. What do you think it means? So a lot of crypto in general had wicks today. I mean, Ethereum had a wick. I think Cardano had a wick. So something, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it was misprints because a lot of them had these strange wicks. But I mean, Binance is coin, another popular one. How would you go about playing VIX? I learned so much about stocks, technicals, and options from you. Just looking to expand knowledge. So VIX is most commonly going to move in like a perfect inverse manner to the S&P 500. That's what the VIX is. The VIX is the measure of volatility of the S&P 500. So generally, when it sells off, that's a spike in volatility. That's why you can say it moves inversely. You could play VIX, VXX, UVXY, but it's all the volatility in some manner or another of the S&P 500. We've tried reaching out to you, Twitter, October 7th. We're running New York City TS billboard competition soon, and having you on before would be simply awesome. I'm not too familiar with what you're referring to. I mean, I get a lot of DMs, and as many people know, my DMs are now coming in like awkwardly late. For whatever reason, like I'm days behind. Like if I look at my DMs right now, the last one will be from like October 17th or something. Can you explain how Citadel is being replaced by an AI order type by the SEC that protects lit orders from latency arbitrage? Citadel's being replaced. Citadel isn't being replaced. I don't know where you're getting that from. Citadel is trying to stop delimit orders from IEX, and that court case starts on Monday, October 25th. They came up with a delimit order, which is basically saying when we're coming back to those high frequency traders, if they notice that there's about to be an adverse price movement, they change the order for you in an attempt to get a better fill. And Citadel is currently suing the SEC, saying they should have never allowed that order to be in order. And the order was created by IEX, which is a particular lit exchange that I'm personally a big fan of. Yes, I did their podcast, but they don't pay me to say this. I have no equity. I have no financial stake at all related to that exchange. I just think that they are one of the most moral players currently on Wall Street. IEX started in 2012, literally as a battle against high frequency traders. There was a group of people who worked at RBC, and they noticed that they were always just getting front run. And then they started to look into what was going on, and they realized it was all this high frequency trading. And they decided to implement an exchange that would battle against the latency arbitrage, which is exactly what high frequency traders use to make their money and to outrun people. So I'm a big fan of them. And this is my own guesswork. But if you look at IEX, they have this order, delimit order, which is built on this very fancy math model called CQI. CQI, you can look at the history of their commits. This is all public information. It's been updated every single year from 2014 to 2018. They announced the delimit in 2019, and then it was caught up in like basically SEC regulation for an entire year because of Citadel. And then it finally went live a year later in October of 2020. So delimit is live right now at IEX. It's been running for about a year. And I talked about this, like this is on the Kohrs Light channel, more of a breakdown, but all of the metrics and graphs are impressive. Delimit is a very, very impressive order type, and its functionality is obviously superior. Like the data's there. This is not an opinionated thing. And Citadel is absolutely hell-bent on stopping this order from going live. But what's crazy is almost everyone else agrees it's superior. Everyone agrees it's superior. Even high-frequency trading firms are like, no, this is actually a pretty good limit order. The only one who's against it is Citadel, and their argument is that the SEC shouldn't have approved it, and they should listen to them, as in like Citadel saying to the SEC, listen to us because we are in the fight for retail. They've said that. That's their like official court filing, is that we represent retail. The fuck they do. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful for how this court case plays out. It starts on Monday. I don't know if it's going to be fast. I don't know if it's going to be slow. I'm not a lawyer, but on Monday when the court case gets going, I very much want to get the hashtag Citadel is not retail or something in support of IEX, but we have to get something going on social media because this is a case and we need IEX to win. I am invested in Bitcoin, ETH, ADA, and SHIB. With crypto and ETH running, is it better to wait or keep adding more? I'm going to hold it for years. I mean, I don't like to add at new all-time highs, even for a long-term hold. Like just the natural ebb and flow of the market. There's going to be some sort of breather. What are your thoughts on warrant pricing in relation to commons? I'm crushing DWAC today, but curious on relative price to DWAC. Any input? I don't have any special input on the pricing of warrants, but in terms of your potential gains or losses, I would argue that they're actually going to be leveraged. So for example, you're in DWACW. If you get that play right, you're actually going to make more than just a linear bet within the stock itself. Higher risk, higher reward. I would argue in kind of a weird way, it is a leveraged asset, but people who know how to trade warrants, that you can make a lot of money, like a lot of money. A lot of money. All right, I think I am up to date there. Hey, I see everyone joining in. What's going on, Burns? I am compensating your F-bomb immediately. My name is Brendan Burns, and I approve this F-bomb. Yeah, I mean, with things getting a little bit more colorful lately, I've definitely been, more and more of my videos have been getting demonetized, but whatever. I don't know. Whatever, folks. Whatever. It's fun, and it's just frustrating. I mean, last night, just the obscurity that all of Wall Street tries to hide itself behind, infuriating. It's just, I was diving into some 606 reports last night related to brokerages and where they send their orders. And the fact that information is so incredibly difficult to find and make sense of, they just love to hide it all in mystery. That's how they protect themselves. And then like when one of these things like has regulations against it, they just come up with a new monstrosity. And that's exactly why today the title and the thumbnail, it's Apenstein, like the monster of Wall Street. I just view it as like the apes are now like, we're a new incarnation of a monster, just fighting the monsters that have been there for years and years and years, abusing the system, presenting risk to the overall economy and the world, because really a lot of the world is going to be based on the US economy. And they just do it for bottom dollar. And it's one thing, maybe sometimes they're just not so perfect and they didn't realize what they're doing was bad or good. But they're like, when we start to have the proof and the data about these situations, and they're like, no, that's fine. And like, I just find it so morally reprehensible of what's going on with Citadel. Like, particularly right now, as it's going into another fight with IEX. You want to know something funny about IEX and Citadel? Before IEX was even an exchange, which I believe happened in 2016, it started out in 2012. In fact, it started, and like then obviously it takes time to like become an NSE, a national security exchange. They like campaign that it shouldn't even be an exchange. Like before IEX was an official thing, they're like, nope, this should not be a thing. Literally since like before day one, we're talking about like negative day one. Citadel has been against IEX. And then you start to look into why, and like, okay, try to go into it. I implore everyone to do their own research. Maybe I'm just a little bit biased because of my hatred towards Citadel. But all of a sudden, when I see this pattern of Citadel continually fighting against someone or something as a business or an exchange or a concept, it makes me look into it of like, well, why? So I looked into it. I did the best I could, and the things I could find out about IEX, I'm like, oh, well, this is why Citadel's against it, because Citadel seems to be, or not Citadel, this is why Citadel's against IEX. IEX just seems to be an exchange that's, you know, like, hey, we just want a fair, open, competitive market. That seems to be their ethos before this ape thing was even a thing. It started back in 2012, and all of a sudden, they're a professional exchange that seems to exude some of the same main pillars of the ape community's argument. We just want a fair, open, competitive, equal market. That's all we want. And it seems like, hey, it makes me feel at least good that not every aspect of Wall Street is corrupt. It seems like there's pockets of corruption, and I'm not saying the entire thing is corrupted or the entire thing is rigged, but when we see certain pockets of it, well, in my opinion, that's what we fight against. And as we fight against it, that's when you need to find the well-established entities, people, experts, and certain subsets of mainstream media that are willing to back us up in the fight, because I think that's how we win. DWACW and DWAC, one is the warrant, one is the stock. Both went up at the moment, but when to buy the warrant, when not to. I mean, with that, warrants get a little bit more complicated. Warrants are not the same direct thing as the stock itself. It's not good to think of it that way, but it does make sense that they're both going up right now. I mean, there's enthusiasm, I guess, about the new social media network that the previous president is trying to create, President Trump, that is. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I didn't know that he was making his own social media. It was called like Truth Social or something. I'm afraid to talk about if it's a good or a bad investment because I just don't know anything about it. I don't know the investors. I don't know the business plan. I don't know the revenue model. I don't know if people are already signed on. Hey, are they live streaming? Are they going to be talking about markets? Or is it just upload videos? Or is it like a Twitter that he's just not going to get himself kicked off of? I don't know what it is. Every ape is now winding me up as Brandon. Brandon is the name that could yell that in the mall at a 5-year-old with no shirt on. Brendan. It's Brendan Burns. Brandon's the guy who gets yelled at, no shirt on. Please, Mark, new shirt idea. The F they do. Man, well, we're seeing some green. We're definitely seeing some green right now. AMC looking good. Remember, it's 41.85, but this 41.30 to 41.40 area is exactly where we've seen resistance over the past like 3 days. So kind of a hit here. We've seen it. Watch for the breakout of 41.85, then 42. Before we get too far into the day, here's what we're going to do. We are going to set the hot chip level as just breaking above this trend line. It doesn't have to close above it, but if we trade at all above 47, that would trigger me owing you that hot chip challenge, just so everyone knows. So for today, it changes day in, day out. But today, we just need to trade 47.01 for one tick, one time in sales print, and then that would trigger it. DWAC, let's go. Brandon, shirtless. What is going on? What is going on? All right. IWM, I mean, I was talking about how I'm long on it yesterday. I just locked in some of the money on it. I mean, it's just looking really good. Like, it's just looking awesome. I mean, look at this. So the reason why I locked in some is because we're at resistance. And there's an intraday breather where I can load up again and try to ride this breakout to 230. But just a nice money-making opportunity. What is BTC at? DWAC looking very good. GME whoa, everything's looking good. What is going on right now? Even BTC doing its thing. ETH doing its thing. Do we have a particular crypto? Solana waking up. What do we have? Matic 157. Cardano's looking good. Wow. Let's get going, folks. Let's do this thing. Hey, let's do this thing. Thoughts on holding UVXY? I know it deals with the S&P 500 futures and has been in contango, but it's still sitting at all-time low. COVID pullback, let the spike. Yeah, so UVXY is a leveraged way to play volatility. So it's going to move inversely in a leveraged manner to the S&P 500. So as the S&P 500 continues to go up, UVXY is going to come down. UVXY. If the S&P 500 drops, look for UVXY to spike. All right, AMC looking good. We're at that breakout level. Look at this. For all the people who don't like technicals, let me just say, nah. This is exactly, this is how good technicals are. I call out 4185, we hit 4187. You gotta know technicals. You can't trade and not know technicals. It's too good. It's too useful. There's too many people involved in it who are watching the levels, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. All right, what do we have here? All right, AMC. Let's see if it runs up. Technical's hot. Let's take a breather and let's bust through. If we get above this 42, like the high 41s, 42 region, once again, 4420 is the area I'm watching. And right now, GME is at its breakout region of 190. Let's see if it can hold. It's at 189.20. We know it's had troubles here. We're looking for the breakout and the follow through. BTC, 65K. Awesome. This DWAC thing, at 14, big 44% gain. With it, my advice right now, not knowing much about it, is just quickly dive into it. Obviously, it's related to the social media announcement in terms of Trump and his social media platform. People are liking it. I don't know if it's worth it. Former U.S. President Donald Trump launches Truth social media platform. So that's the name of it, Truth. So, hey, I would just say look into it. See if it's all that it's cracked up to be. I'm not necessarily for it or against it because I just don't know anything about it. It might be awesome. Who knows? Maybe it's the newest TikTok, or maybe it's like the newest Yik Yak. I don't know. It could explode or it could fail. You gotta look into it. Mary Wingard becoming an astronaut. Brandon, stop hitting your sister and that trolley and those men. Brandon, that is not edible. Quit licking the banister. Put on your shirt. No, your shirt, not that man. Oh man. Tesla. Remember, Tesla crushed their earnings, their deliveries, 882. Like I said, I've been calling this out for a hot minute. I would be thoroughly surprised if Tesla does not hit a new all-time high by the end of this calendar year. I really, really would. All right, I think I'm up to date there. What's going on, YouTubers? Just a quick reminder, my socials at Matt_Kohrs if you're looking for updates in between the streams or just my rants or anything like that. The reason I'm calling it out is now that crypto's going wild, it does seem like there's some sort of correlation between crypto going wild and more bots. I'm referring to fake Twitter accounts, fake Instagram accounts, and then just even bot responses in YouTube. I'm not on WhatsApp. I'm not asking you to WhatsApp me. I'm never asking you to send me money. I'm not asking you to email me. Those are not me. On both YouTube and Rumble, I'm Matt Kohrs, and I have a check mark. I am verified on those two platforms. I'm not verified on Instagram or Twitter because they don't like us. They don't like the apes. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. So those, just make sure you're checking it's Matt_Kohrs. Please don't get scammed. I know a lot of you listening right now, you think to yourself, how could someone possibly get scammed? It's so obviously a fake account. You would be surprised. So it breaks my heart when I see that people are getting scammed. So please, just make sure it's me. I'm not asking you for money. I'm not on WhatsApp. I'm not emailing. Don't do any of that. Make sure it's me. And if you see a fake account, report it. Report it. Help protect the community. Take down these scam artists. All right, I see some people excited about ATER. Ater. Look at that. Look at ATER. My level on it is 11.25. Between 11 and 11.25, I think is the next stop. Obviously, it has to get over the psychological level at 10. I don't think that should be that big of an issue. I'm watching 11.25 on ATER. Looks like it was in bullish, kind of weird, bearish, consolidated, back to being bullish. That's a nice follow through. How is ANY looking? ANY, the party's back on above 760. SDC, you want that back above 6. PROG, you want that back above 3. Tesla 882. I'm just watching 900, 9, whatever it is. Like, I think Tesla's going to an all-time high. I very much do. What else do we have? Hey, Cardano up to 224, SHIB at 28, Hex at 28, Doge at 25. How's the Russell looking right now? Russell is looking good. Good. In the hood. All right, we are good on all of this. We are good. Where are we at on the Russell and the futures? All right, how's this DWAC thing looking? Digital World Acquisition Corp. Interesting. 43% gain. That kind of makes sense. Just so you know, just generically, SPAC deals, they commonly sit at $10. Like, that's just where it's going to get priced at. And what they're doing is basically filling out. Sorry, now I have two WACs. Let's go back to ATER. I know that's exciting, people. So SPACs commonly sit at $10, and then when there's some sort of announcement of who they are buying equity into and bringing that company public, that's when you see the movement. So they coast at 10, and then you see the announcement, and then from there you see the public's reaction to said announcement. Your interviews recently have been incredible, but also complex for a newbie. It sounds like they are finding ways around triggering a squeeze. Yes or no? Ways around triggering a squeeze. I don't know if I look at it like that. Ways around triggering a squeeze. I think stopping a squeeze is a byproduct. So we have very well-respected people such as Thomas Petterfee, the billionaire creator of Interactive Brokers, who, remember back in February when all of these things were going haywire, he said if they didn't take away the buy button, he said they took away the buy button because it was legitimately representing a systematic risk. And with that, I think the public deserves an explanation of what actually happened. I think all the trades from that time period, late January, should be subpoenaed. Citadel Securities, Robinhood, just anyone involved in it. I want to subpoena the communications between Citadel Securities, Citadel Hedge Fund, Robinhood, and whatever government agency they were most likely talking to. I know that's a bit of a theory. We have no evidence out there. I just don't see how they weren't involving some form of the SEC. And I think them worrying about their own bottom line and protecting their cronies had the byproduct of stopping the squeeze, because like they were just looking at their own P&L and company. I think I understand why. I truly do. Of many apes are in this and they're like, hey, I'm in AMC and or GME. I want the MOAS. I want this money. I want financial freedom. And I'm there with you. But I think the way we get that is by first producing legitimate change and improving the markets. And from there, I think the side effect, when we actually have better rules and more appropriate rules, well, I just want supply and demand to play out the way that it should, is what I'm saying. And I think if supply and demand did play out the way it should, well, then we would have like, I guess, that better opportunity, which to me increases the odds of the MOAS. I think some people are inappropriately saying, no, we need the MOAS, and then we'll use that to make better rules. I don't see it playing out that way in my head. As this has been going on, we're almost 11 months into this. I'm starting to see, like, for me, just as a human, the reason why I do this day over day is, yes, of course I want to make money. Like, it would be silly for me to be like, oh, I'm just doing this because I'm completely altruistic and I'm Mother Teresa. I'm in AMC, I'm in GME. I want them to squeeze the moon because that makes me money. I'm not saying that I'm just like some like great guy that's fighting for market fairness out of the goodness of my heart and I don't want to financially benefit off of it. Of course I do. I don't know how to be more blatant about it. But I do know that we've been taking this approach of angling for the MOAS for the past 10 months, and this is where it's gotten us. And I like where we've gotten, but I'm also not like completely content. Like, I think we could do better. I think the stocks can go higher, but more importantly, I think we can improve the market for all. I know some people here are exclusively here for the money because someone on social media has pitched them this concept and they don't necessarily care about improving the market and stamping out the manipulation, but I do. So that's kind of where my head's at, is like, I think if we fix things, then the chance of the MOAS is higher. And I know some people exclusively care about the MOAS, and that's fine, to each their own. It's just not necessarily, I think in my mind, it's a bit more complex of the scenario we're in. I think just this concept of like day over day, just screaming MOAS, 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 I think it's too simplistic and it's underestimating the complex situation that we found ourselves in. Okay, Mark, enough joking around. When are we partnering and buying a chain of Applebee's? I hope you're having a great day, bro. Shout out Matt's Plastic Bag. Morning, Clark. Can you give me a crash futures course looking to buy oil? So basically, one of the main things you need to know is that they trade on contracts. Like, if you buy something, you can't sit in it forever because the contracts end and you have to roll to the next contract period. And they're highly leveraged. A dollar move, so if oil goes from 82 to 83, that's not the change of $1 per contract. That's actually a change of $1,000 in your account. And not all of them are leveraged like that. That's just the leverage rate in oil, but there's different leverage rates in the S&P 500 futures, RTY, like all of them. So you have to know the leverage rate, and also the fact that you're not just going to quote unquote diamond hand it, because you're going to be actively moving with every contract period. And not all futures may move on the same contract period. Oil changes month over month, but then you have other futures that change every quarter. So you have to know exactly which one you're dealing with. Portillo going public today. AMC, I love the stock. The synthetic feel is nice. Best of luck in the markets. Everyone shout out Matt. Razvin becoming an astronaut, shout out. Thoughts on Satama, newish crypto project with the focus on financial and market literacy? It seems to be getting momentum. I don't know anything about it. I spend most of my crypto time learning about like the top 20 projects because I think they're the equivalent in the stock market of blue chip stocks versus penny stocks. Once in a while, yeah, it's a fun to mess around with them, but I think it's better bets to bet on the well-established blue chip stocks. All right, there we are. Can you check out the article on MarketWatch on Future Coin and give your opinion? I could look at it. Future during break, Future Coin, MarketWatch for sure. If this is just some like sort of, I guess, generic though, like equivalent, like just hot momentum, like altcoin that is going to die out, like I'm not going to be too enthused with it. My viewpoint on crypto is the money is to be made in like solid long-term bets. I think Bitcoin is a long-term winner. I think Ethereum is a long-term winner. I think Cardano is a long-term winner. I think Solana is a long-term winner. And there's many more. Like if I didn't say your favorite one, I'm just like listing a couple. But that is exactly like you might have the nice gains now, but if people's future predictions of where these things could go within a decade, within 2 decades, we're talking about legitimate life-changing money, like FU money, where you can like just retire and you have that bank account and you do whatever you want. If I just have to be patient for that, more than happy to. Absolutely more than happy to, if that's like what's required of me. Your response to my question makes me think we are relying on government intervention. Could take forever. So we are relying on fundamentals right now? Yes, no. I don't think we're relying on fundamentals. I mean, I guess it depends on how you define fundamentals, but typically you don't see fundamentals triggering a short squeeze play. I think we're more so relying on market structure and fixing market structure. Fundamental, yeah, I don't think anyone's arguing that this is a really a fundamental play at the current levels. I am 100% on board with making our markets free and fair. That would be our highest priority. Only asking these questions to help develop my plan. So my own plan related to AMC and GME has developed considerably over this battle, over this saga of the past 10 months. And here is my current plan. And I think it's a very, very simple one. I'm in it. I'm in both. I currently have no options in both, but I might as soon as I see volatility pick up. But in terms of my shares, the shares I currently have, I have a 4-figure share amount of AMC and a 3-figure share amount of GME. That's where I'm at. And I don't view these as quote unquote normal stocks. I don't, because they're not normal stocks. The stock price happens to be a scoreboard of a certain sense. And beyond that, I am betting an amount of money that I'm willing to completely risk, as in I'm willing to ride AMC and GME to go to zero if need be to just prove a point. That's my risk. I am not saying that's an appropriate risk for everyone. Remember, you got to be in charge of your own financial responsibility. You have bills to pay, you have rent, if you have kids, like where I'm at, the amount I have on AMC and GME, it is acceptable for me with my own personality and my own financial situation to risk all of my shares going completely kaput. And that's it. That, like, honestly, AMC and GME, as it's developed, has become my easiest trade, where I'm like, oh, what's my risk level? These other ones, I have risk level and I'm looking at Fibonacci levels and retracements and earnings. AMC and GME, I'm looking at zero. If it's not at zero, I don't care. I'm just in it. And with it, like, I think too many people are getting fascinated with watching every single minute candle moving in this. If you're in the fight of the MOS and or improving the market, you don't have to get bogged down in the movement of one candle to one, like 1 minute to 1 minute to 1 minute. You're going to drive yourself absolutely loco. You truly will. If you're in it for like a day trade or a swing trade, okay, well, that's a different story. You might need to pay a bit closer attention to it. But for me, it's almost like a weight is lifted. And I've made this decision months ago of, if I'm going to completely risk zero, if I'm going to risk like all of those shares just going to zero, well, that's my trading plan. And now I know I don't have to pay attention to much. And then that gives me more time to set up those interviews, to do a deep dive into 606 reports, to Citadel Securities, to the GameStop report. It gives me more time to get focused truly on what's going on in the larger Wall Street picture and really connecting the dots, because I don't see anyone doing that whatsoever. I see a lot of people day over day saying, okay, here's the charts, here's the short interest, we don't like Citadel, and whatever like the hot hashtag is. And that's fine. I'm never gonna like hate on it because it got us to this point, but I also know that you can't keep doing the same thing and then expect a different change. And that's why for me, I think the charge is necessary to go into the direction of trying to contact representatives, senators, doing the interviews with people we haven't done interviews with. Like, I think we just need to be more mature and organized about this if we have any hope of winning. Hey man, thoughts on CEI? Chance of it going above 2 anytime? I mean, the chance is always there, but CEI freaks me out because I don't know who's right and who's wrong. Some people are saying that it's being manipulated down. Other people were saying that it was being manipulated up. And it seems like the people who were originally supporting it, some of those main Twitter accounts, haven't really been able to disprove the carousel short thesis, that report. So I don't know. And when I get confused about who is right and who's wrong, I just stay away from it. But to answer your question, can it go above 2? Yeah, of course it can. It's in the energy sector. We see energy running like a madman. Is it theoretically possible? Yes. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but just that the narrative related to that play, I find to personally be confusing. And when I get confused, I just avoid it. Look at the chart, stock IO, 30-year chart where the prices were hundreds, correct, falling to nothing now and start to moving. Yeah, but that could have been because of a stock split. Whenever you do a stock split, the price goes down and it like artificially in the past looks higher, or technically that's actually a reverse stock split. So you see that a lot in the marine shipping sector, such as CTRM, Tops, Dries. Like if you look at their charts, it's just because they incessantly do reverse stock splits. So in the past, it looks like the price is way, way higher. Anyone know what background music Matt uses when he is gone? The music I play at the start is from Gorillionaires. They're on YouTube. The one song is To the Moon. The other one is Show Us Some Money. Once again, they're Gorillionaires. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on every major music provider. In terms of the lo-fi music, the website is called Upbeat. Upbeat. Oh, and for my morning listeners, just in case you don't know, we are back to doing a power hour stream. 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. We do the morning stream to set us up for the day, see what's going on. Then we have the boring midday session, and then we come back for Power Hour. In that midday session, just to talk about things in more detail, we have the Moon Gang Discord. That's in the description. Right now, there are some open spots if that's something that interests you. As much as I can throughout the week, I try to hop in the voice channels, and we just talk as a community about whatever's moving at the day. I need to make this explicitly clear. This channel is not a buy and sell signal Patreon. Not whatsoever. That's a great way to get in trouble with the SEC of some sort of like community manipulation. Maybe one day in the future, I could figure out how to like update just my own crypto portfolio. But if you think it's a buy and sell signal type thing, please do not sign up, because that's not what it is. It's much more of people who are just like trying to learn about what's going on and creating a community who's a little bit more interested in organizing to get changes with senators and representatives and talking about stocks, options, futures, crypto. It's big in terms of like all the options, like all the different channels that we have there. But I need to make it clear, it is not a buy and sell signal thing. I don't want to hawk trading signals. I just don't like it. Do you believe AMC will take until 2022 to squeeze? I have absolutely no idea. In fact, I think it's silly when anyone guarantees a squeeze. I am betting on a squeeze at some random point in the future because I have stock right now. And maybe if I see things going haywire, maybe I'll get back into call options. I don't know. But if anyone is... You can't guarantee anything in the stock market. And I think a lot of people are basing their social media on that of like, no, it has to happen. It has to happen. Literally just yesterday, I saw a YouTube video, AMC squeeze confirmed. What? Like, talk about clickbait BS. And then of course you click on it and I watch the whole thing and I'm like, well, this is just an awful video. And it was based on, what was it even based on? The average age of these shares being on loan. They're like, oh, because it's above 70 and it's high, that confirms the squeeze. No, it doesn't. Anyone confirming that it has to squeeze, the price level of which it will go to, or the date of which it will occur, they do not know what they're talking about. I don't know how to make that more clear. You can take this to the bank. If they are saying it has to happen, the price of which it will go to, or the date on which it will happen, they do not know what they are talking about. You can't, that's super dangerous. That is incredibly dangerous. Unmet expectations, I think, is one of the main things that could put this entire community at risk. Where do you get the Moon Gang tee? Lil Schnibby. Moongangmerch.com. It's in the description. Just, we have some basic ones. Right now, there's actually some Halloween ones. If that's, I think I actually, hang on. This one right there. I appreciate you asking. BITO, Bitcoin Futures ETF. It's going to be running with BTC. It's the ProShares one that came out. Ryan, becoming an astronaut, shout out. Matt, where do I find Theta on an options play? Educate me. So I don't know. Usually it's going to be in your options chain. That'll be like one of your options, pun to see options. You're going to have all the Greeks. So you're going to want to look at your Theta, your Delta, your Vega, maybe even your Gamma. But the options chain, wherever you see an option chain, that should be one of your options to add another column to see all the Greeks that you want to see. ATER ran all the way up past 10, right now at 970. Looks to have a pretty freaking good day. Pretty good day. Where are we at? IWM taking a bit of a breather. DWAC holding up 49%, up 50% on the day. That's impressive. AMC looks like it wants to break and move. Matt, you have talked about PLTRBR before, not financial advice. What do you think about it long term? Love that channel. Love the channel. I appreciate that, Frank. I love Palantir as a long term investment. I'm not really interested in a short or medium term trade with Palantir. I just, from my technical background, I truly believe that its software is a couple years ahead of any competitor. And it's in the world of data analytics, which is just exploding. I like it. It's backed by juggernauts such as Peter Thiel. They don't really seem to get plays wrong. So I like Palantir as a long-term investment. They are intimately tied with doing analytics for the government. I think 60% of their revenue comes from US deals. So when you're talking about the deep pockets of the government, that makes me even more happy in terms of the revenue model. I am a fan of Palantir, a long-term investor of Palantir. Hang on. Someone said, let me double check something. Oh, it looks like YouTube's been having this problem lately where the right, oh man, you guys aren't seeing my new thumbnail. Shoot. Why does this not upload properly? My apologies. Man, I had such a thumbnail for you today. My title probably makes no sense. Why is this not upload? It's right on Rumble, and now it's right on YouTube. It should be right on YouTube. Man, I was so excited about this thumbnail, and you guys are probably super confused by the title if you didn't see the right thumbnail. I don't know why YouTube is using the previous days when I upload one, but it should be good now if you just want to see that. Tesla. Whoa, it is heading to an all-time high. What? Oh man, if only I took my own advice. We are about to hit a new all-time high. Dingity ding ding ding. 940. We are $2.40 away. Wow. Congrats to all the Tesla-ers. All right. I did see the correct thumbnail when I first hopped on. Yeah, so what's been happening from a technical perspective is when it's waiting there, as in I'm not live yet, it shows the right one. And as soon as I hit go live, it somehow reverts to the old one. And it just really messes things up. It's very, very frustrating. AMC looking still at 41.85, double tapped it thus far. And then Tesla looking good, 900. That's crazy. Just join the Moon Gang. How do I link Discord? Once you sign up through Patreon, and you link your Discord there, like you just need to give it your like Discord username, then it should come up as a server for you. If you continue to have issues with it, there's a DMing message or like capability through Patreon. DM me and I'll walk you through it. I might get to you like tonight, but like I said, there are some open positions there now. Tesla. Congrats if you're in Tesla, man. AMC looking good. GME not looking. It's okay. It's just rejected once again at 190. This is like the millionth rejection we've seen there, and it's on super low volume. Like, so we just need to see some better follow through on GME. Low volume, low volatility. In the afternoon stream, I spoke about this, but just in case you guys missed the afternoon stream, for whatever it is, there's more infighting between AMC and GME, like the two communities. And I cannot articulate how downright stupid that is. If you're in AMC, great. If you're in GME, great. Neither of them are a distraction from the other. The distraction is like asshats on social media fighting that one is better than the other. If you think one is better than the other, cool, invest in that one. Honestly, no one cares. Invest in the one you like. If you like both, invest in both. Trade both. But the infighting, talk about an absolute waste of energy. Like what? Like, talk about that. That's perfect. That's the exact thing the SEC, Wall Street, market makers, prime brokers want us to do. The more time we spend infighting of, oh, this stock is better, you're a distraction, I'm a distraction, we're all a distraction. That is such an egregious waste of time. Honestly, I've gotten so pissed off at that rhetoric and that drama, even if it doesn't involve me. If I see people bitching about one is better than the other, block. I blocked at least 100 people yesterday. And they didn't even say, like, I'm getting so petty with like my social media of who I do and don't block. If I see anyone arguing with another ape about one stock being better than the other, block. Instantaneous block. Don't want to hear about it. Don't care. It's a waste of time. Waste of time. Don't do it. You have better things to do with your day. It is literally a better use of your personal time to sit in a room and stare at a wall and do nothing than fight with someone on social media, another ape, about one stock being better than another. It is far better for you to watch paint dry on a wall. It's absurd. SKLZ. Do you like the company? So I know about it a little bit just because it is in the gaming sector. The chart hasn't been the best lately, but it looks like it's finally building up some momentum. If you're okay with risking $8, that's $2. That's a 20% risk, kind of a wide risk, but I like the sector it's in. I do like it. I'm just a little bit biased towards like esports, and I believe data processing. I think it's still in the world of esports. Former Amazon executive. It looks like they picked up someone from Amazon. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite stock at all. But like the trend has been brutal lately. But it seems like it's now bending back around. Like, so a bit of a reversion. So that's kind of exciting. Tesla nearing all-time highs. Yo, I respect what you're doing. You and Trey made me hold when they stopped the buy button. Cheers. Hey, I mean, it's still all up to you, folks. Like, it's still all your own decision of what you do or don't want to do, because we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different personalities. We all have different financial situations. You got to do what's best for you. And if someone's opinion or argument resonates with you, that's great, but please just always do your own DD. You should not be making any investment and or trading decision based solely on what you somehow gather from social media. You got to take it to the next level. Thoughts on Duo? I don't know. It seems like you're trying to catch a falling knife. Like, this is pretty brutal. Down. it seems like a no trade. Like, it would have been okay to short it previously. You would have made money, but now, like, it might just keep going down. Is Tesla about to break? I just see a bunch of weakness. It's a penny stock. I don't like to mess around with that. Some people asked about HX. HX, a run that went weak. I missed the party on it, but like, if you're in it, congrats, but quite the run. But I'm not gonna, not long ago it was at $2 and now it's at 16. I'm not gonna be the guy who's like chasing that. What else do we have? Watt, W-A-T-T. Another pretty bad looking chart. I just don't see any buyers. I just see a slow bleed, a slow hemorrhage. All right, quick coffee break, team. Who's this ding dong? The box guy. People. Oh wait, how do I find them? People just chanting different tickets is why I stopped watching live streams for a while. Been gone now and I've come back and it's the same thing. Hey, box guy, I have a very quick solution. Please let me help you on this. Let me kick you just so you never have to return ever. Gonzo, bye. Bye, Felicia. Problem solved. Look at me. Look at me. Matt Kohrs becoming a problem solver. Chanting tickets. I don't know if I've ever chanted ticket. I think you mean chanting ticker, but I also don't know if I've ever chanted a ticker. But more than happy to help you, box guy. Problem solved. Problem solved. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. Yeah, I just view myself as a problem solver. Someone said Cardano waking up 220. What a weird bar for it. Cardano. We have BTC taking a breather now. ETH 4100. Matic. Solana $1.80. ATR 970. Tesla crushing it. PROG 270. You're looking for 300 or $3. Sorry, I know you're probably also looking for 300. All right, let's throw up IWM right there just to see what's going on in this little ditty. People still talking about DWAC. Is that still moving? It is still moving. Whoa. AMC moving. You'd like to know your thoughts on SNDL from a TA perspective, price points to look out for. Thanks for all you do. SNDL, don't really like it because it's a penny stock, and I think there's better marinara plays such as Tilray, but from a technical perspective, I'd be watching 75 cents as that breakout, and then from there, I would kind of probably, what do I want to watch? Maybe 81 cents. I would look for that, but I'm not the biggest fan of SNDL. I like Tilray better. I'm not against SNDL. I just think if I'm going to play an industry that I'm bullish on, I want to play the best companies within that industry. So you could play the ETF that tracks the industry, MJ as in Mary Jane, or the biggest company, Tilray. Testicles, dear Kinky Kong, I'm still finna catch a lick. What are your thoughts on Algo? I have Algo. That's actually the one I've been learning about most recently, Algorand, and I like it. I'm bullish on it. It's impressive. Very, very impressive. I think Algo and Solana get compared a lot. I'm in both. I happen to have more money in Solana. That doesn't necessarily make it the better one, but I do think that Solana already has more adoption, but I think from a technical perspective, Algorand's already overcome some technical problems that Solana's going to need to overcome. I like both. I'm bullish on both. Matt, the bouncer, Texas time traveler, what's going on? I appreciate that. I think it generates a nice sense of survival. I'm sure there's a lot of you in here that you're like, oh, I made it through the first wave of axing. I like to, whenever it comes to anything in life, it can behoove you to think outside of the box. And I think a lot of people trying to grow their social media, they always think about it in terms of like, how can I keep people in? How can I get more viewers? How can I get more likes? How can I get more upvotes? It's always like, how can I get more? And like it, I don't know if it's right or not, but I like to think outside of the box in the sense of, well, what happens if I actively work against myself and get rid of my viewers? You know, a lot of people would be like, whoa, that sounds crazy. That's a really stupid business model. And it might be. I don't know. Only one way to find out. Sometimes you just have to YOLO it. So we'll see how it goes. I think it creates a little bit of a survivorship bias, and everyone's like, okay, I made it through it. Whew, phew. But yeah, on the backside of it, obviously it's not the best because I'm getting rid of my own viewers, but we'll see. We'll see. Just crazy enough, it might work. You gotta weed out the weak to keep the strong. I'm just herding the pack. Just herding the pack of apes. The army of apes. What are your thoughts on atomic wedgies? I'm bearish. What's going on, Nick Hernandez? Can you give me your thoughts on Hyliion for long term? So those of you who don't know about Hyliion, I do know a little bit. It was one of my the ones I really dove into in 2020. It's another EV play, but they are more in the trucking sector. So think Class 8 trucks, like those big like shipping trucks that you see on the highway. They are looking to redo their powertrain to bring them from like common diesel, at least in the US, to EV. I really like the CEO, Thomas Healy. He's a bit of a reserved person, but I think he's not spending his time like showboating on TV. He's like worrying about the company. So I like him. I'm invested in him. I have a very bad price average. It's very much a long-term hold for me. I want them to be successful. I think they have the team and the management skills to make it successful, but I don't think it's by any means like a short-term play. I think you just have to wait. And it's kind of a bet on the trucking shipping industry getting kind of a huge makeover into the world of EV. Trump article took me to DWAC, W instead of DWAC. What's the difference? DWAC is the warrants for DWAC. So they're not the exact same thing, but it's still related to the same company. So DWAC is all about the warrants related to DWAC, which you're going to see that more in the world of SPACs. If you don't know what warrants are, that's probably not your opportunity to jump in and start trading them. You might want to do a little bit of a deep dive of how they're traded, the markets they're traded on. Honestly, not even all brokers offer you them. If you're on something like Robinhood or Webull, I don't think you even have the option to trade warrants. So you got to do a little bit of research on what that world is. Hey, Matt, what if they took away the buy button? How are people able to sell if they're not able to buy? By the way, love the show. People weren't able to buy on Robinhood, on Webull, and other brokerages. They didn't take away the buy button on all brokerages. People, for whatever reason, are thinking that the buy button left on Robinhood, and that means it left on all brokerages. It did not leave on all brokerages. We know it didn't leave on all brokerages because the stock was still actively being traded. As soon as you overrun the, I guess, certain buy orders, like at a certain point, there would have been no liquidity left. But we also just know not all brokerages stopped the trading of those assets, of those equities. Robinhood did, Webull did, other brokerages did, but not all brokerages did, and that's how the stock was still actively traded, but it dropped so severely, specifically GameStop, because a majority of it was serious selling pressure because it was driven by retail sentiment. And when retail was mainly fragmented and segmented on Robinhood at that moment in time, when you take that away, you take away a lot of the buying pressure, and that's just classic supply and demand. When you take away demand and the supply is there or even greater, of course, the new equilibrium, which is the price, is going to drop quite a bit. Charles Payne just mentioned you are talking today. Oh, he said that publicly, so now I can say it? Sweet. Charles, let me just... Charles Payne, what was the tweet? Big winners, smart money, missed and dismissed. They too should stop trying to shame everyone else approaching to investing. Tesla, lame shorts, pleading, case on TV, not helping. Crocs, Wall Street gave up, now coming back. AMC, GME, discussing with Matt Kohrs on making money. Okay, yeah, so now I can publicly say it. I've known it, like they reached out to me a little bit ago, but to ask if I'd come on today, but now it sounds like I could let you guys know. I will be on with the Silverback, Charles Payne, today, sometime during the making money. I don't know the exact time, but sometime from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. If I get an update of the like more specific time, I'm going to let you know. But yeah, I'm hopping on with Charles Payne. So that will happen right before the Power Hour stream today. I'm sure someone out there will be streaming it, maybe TMI or something like that. He'll probably have it up. I should probably confirm with him that he will be able to have it up, but I'm sure someone will be showing it. Oh, it's always fun talking with him. I always love talking with Charles Payne. Always a great conversation. PROG, via Wall Street Viking, Twitter, 0 shares left to borrow, type 1, type 2, type 3, short squeeze signals from Ortex 3 times within a month threshold list. Fintel, number 1 squeeze out of 5,451 stocks. Millions of call options in the money for no major catalyst. Upcoming 65% of free float shorted. PROG is becoming increasingly interesting day over day, and it's already been interesting. I'm not saying it hasn't been. Now, to clarify, I don't think PROG is in the same level of AMC and GME. I think PROG is a very just legitimate FTD short squeeze play. And with that one, PROG is a bit more interesting. And this is actually one of the main things we talked about in the Discord yesterday. Even if you took away the short interest and PROG was not a short squeeze candidate, it seems like it truly is fundamentally undervalued. At least that was like one of the main takeaways I got from the people in the Discord who know far more about PROG than I do myself. I don't own any PROG, but I'm getting very close to buying some. As I'm saying this live, I really don't own any, but maybe I'll pick up some shares. Maybe I'll let you know. I'll let you know if that changes. But yeah, a lot going on in PROG, short squeeze candidate, FTD short squeeze candidate. And on top of that, a lot of people are just saying, hey, fundamentally, it's crazy undervalued if it's sub $3. I know a lot of people, Wall Street Viking, excited about it. A lot of people in the Discord, excited about it. True Demon, excited about it. There's a lot of people who I respect their opinions who are like, PROG is like worthwhile to do a bit more of a deep dive into. So maybe that's what I'll spend some time this weekend doing. I need to get the things ready for you. I'm trying to pull off another big interview for this weekend, but unfortunately, there might be some scheduling conflicts. So I'm just, if it doesn't happen this weekend, it'll happen next weekend. I just don't want to like give you a subpar interview because the interviews have been absolutely crushing it with very, very impressive people who make my job so much easier. And I don't want to just like come out with a random one that I'm not happy about. But I'm still pushing for this Saturday. I like that cadence. I like a weekend release of an interview. But right now, when you're talking to these people, like, of course, they have their own lives and their own schedules. Like, they're donating their time to us as the Moon Gang to do all those interviews. And sometimes people are just a bit busy. But I'll keep you updated on that. Hey, Matt, sorry if this is a repetitive question, but can you explain why we're moving shares from Webull to computer share or public? So those are two different things. Computer share is direct registration. I'm not necessarily for that, but I'm also not against it. There's pros and cons. When things are directly registered, they're not going to be loaned out, and it does seem to cut down on FTDs, fails to deliver, which I'm a big fan of. The cons of this situation is it makes you very immobile. The way when you're trading on a brokerage that you can get it in and out relatively within like seconds, you cannot do that in DRS. It takes a bit more time. A lot of the times you have to talk to the transfer agent and then they end up just like batching it. And some people, I believe it was Houston Wade, pointed out how sometimes there's more of an issue if your order's over $1 million. So it just gets more complicated in terms of the agility for you to get out of your position. So if you're attempting to top tick a squeeze, and like you're trying to be very, very specific with your exit price, direct registration will complicate that for you. So like I said, pros, cons, I myself have not directly registered any shares. That's my personal opinion. Like I said, not necessarily for it, not necessarily against it. I just want everyone to know the truth of what they're getting involved with if they decide to do that. There are pros, there are cons. In terms of public's just a different brokerage that I perceive to be better than Webull. But also, when it comes to any brokerage, it seems like the more we learn about it, like the crappier they are. At first, I was on Robinhood. I didn't clearly know much about market structure at that point in time. Then they took away the buy button. I was like, screw this. So I went to Webull. Then we found out that Webull does payment for order flow. So now I'm on Public. With it, what I know of Public at this moment in time, October 21st, 10:41 a.m., I am happy with them. Are they perfect? No, they don't have options trading. It's more of just like stock. Like they could improve. I've emailed them a little bit. They say we trade on lit exchanges and market centers. I'm like, what's a market center? And they're like, we'll get back to you. And I'm like, okay, please get back to me so I can share with my audience what a market center is. So I'm hoping to get that answer so I can share it all with you, but they have specifically told me they engage with no market makers. So I like that. They have like said that. I mean, I could show you the email. They're like, we do not deal with any payment for order flow. We do not deal with any market makers. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And they're getting back to me on what a market center is. It seems to be a very like high umbrella term definition word that can mean many, many different things. With it, the brokerages, I would argue, are the most transparent. The way they can be so transparent is because you are paying commissions on a trade. And I know not all of you want to trade on commission, like as in paying per trade. And I get it. Like there's nothing wrong with like wanting to trade with free. But in a certain sense, you could almost argue that when you pay for commissions, you're also then paying for absolute transparency. So for example, a very, very popular brokerage is Interactive Brokers. And on Interactive Brokers, you're paying per trade, you're paying per share, you are paying. But what you get for paying is complete, absolute transparency. You get to pick the routing, you get to see the fees, you get to see the charges from exchanges, from market makers, from dark pools. You see absolutely everything and you are in control of everything. It's one of those things that when you're trading for free on a commissionless brokerage, well, then you are the product. That's just kind of, that's how it works. There are various business models, whether it's loaning, tipping, payment for order flow. There's a lot of business models within the industry, but it's just one of those things that a lot of the times for you to not be the product, well, that means you're paying them for another service, and that's when commissions come into it. So in terms of trading for free, let me put it this way. If you want to trade where you don't pay commissions, I am a fan of Public, Fidelity, and TDA. Fidelity and TDA and Public, they all have like their own obvious dirty little secrets, but TDA and Fidelity, you can directly route. On Public, they say, no market makers, no payment for order flow. We send your orders to lit exchanges and market centers, whatever the hell a market center is, which they have not responded to me on. So those are your options. Those are all commissionless. And I trust those three, especially in TDA and Fidelity. You can directly route. I like that. They all have their skeletons that I could go on all three of them. Public's easy because it's saying, hey, we don't do it ever. You don't have to worry about your own routing. And then if you come into the world of commissions-based trading, my favorite one by and far is Interactive Brokers, if you're okay with paying for commissions. In fact, that is a question I want to ask you. And let me phrase it this way. Fully transparent broker. Yes. Pay. I want to see what you guys actually pay. Commissions. No, I want to trade for free. Okay, so I'm throwing up a poll and I just want to know if in some magical world you could pitch a fully transparent brokerage, fully transparent, you know absolutely everything. Would you be willing to pay a commission, or would you rather it not be transparent but it to be free trading? No, I want to trade for free. Fully transparent broker versus free trading. All right. Let me know. I kind of want to get some numbers to know where the community is at. I've done this question in the past and people are like, no, I just want to trade for free. But now as we're learning more and more about market structure and potentially the importance of being fully transparent, I'm just wondering if the mindset of the community has been changing. In the past, people were very much, no, I want to trade for free. I don't want to pay a commission at all. But I'm just curious. I want to see where the mind of the community is at. And it's anonymous, so please be honest. Like, it's not like your name is going to be associated with it at all. Please be honest. Truly, would you pay commissions for every single trade, for every single share, or is that just not worth it to you? Watch it be a market center is probably a proxy deal with a market maker, so they can claim they don't deal with market makers directly. Saw the shenanigan verbiage crap in my industry. So I asked them that. I was like, do you deal with market makers in any way? And they said no, but it could just be, I don't know, some other random thing, like a single dealer like there's many options for what a market center might be, because it's incredibly vague. Unpaid, please come out. Liz is a savage. Foot in the door to talk with her. I mean, if there's a setup for that, like, I mean, I just have to answer the questions that I'm asked. It's not like I come on and be like, this is what we're talking about today, Charles. Like, I just answer his questions. But hey, if there's that opportunity to talk about how Liz Clayman absolutely murdered Charles Gasparino, I mean, that was, I don't know. I'm working on my eulogy now. Hey, Matt, sorry if this is repetitive. All right, we did that. Go on CP, look into the camera and call Gasparino a moron and challenge him to come on with you. I mean, if I wanted to do that, I'm sure there's a more professional way to go about it. Like, pitch it as like some big event that we could sell like tickets to, like Charles versus Matt, like live debate, something like that. I don't know. Probably make it something humorous. Murder. Watch the SNL murder. Yeah, no, that's where I'm getting it from. That was a funny clip. All right. Tesla about to make that new all-time high, about $1.40 away. All right, AMC hanging out at 4140. 1, 2, 3 obvious rejections, 4 obvious rejections at this level, 4185. Exactly why we're watching it. Bitcoin down to just sub 64K. Whoa, taking an obvious breather. Solana 184, Aether 955, PROG 268, SDC, ANY. Kind of all quiet on the Western front right now. Matic shot up, flat at 152. Cardano 220. ETH holding up at 4,100. BTC bouncing off of 63. Went up, took that breather. Look for the bend back around. Pay attention to the MACD on the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 4 hour, something like that. I think some people do not want to pay commission so they could put that fee towards capital gains tax. Yeah, but the trade-off with that is various other things, less transparency. If you're not paying anything, you are the product and they're somehow making money some way. And a lot of way they make money is through payment for order flow, share lending, upselling you other products. Like they're not just being a broker out of the goodness of their heart. Like they have to like sustain the business somehow. DWAC, is that still moving? Lots of, whoa, what? It's almost up 100%. Man, oh man. This pre-market before 8 a.m. more because of payment for order flow. I would also not like to have PDD in free trades. It's a BS rule in my opinion. So timing doesn't really matter on PFOF. What's different about extended hours trading and normal market hours is you don't have to, there's less regulation in extended hours trading. You don't have to trade within the NBBO anymore. As a trader, especially as a retail trader and or investor, you are far more protected between 9:30 and 4 than outside of that 9:30 to 4 block. But payment for order flow is just who's taking the other side of your trade. Payment for order flow is saying Citadel Securities is taking the other side of your trade, opposed to directly routing when you're finding it in the open market where you can let competition play itself out with whoever on whatever exchange, whoever's engaging in that exchange. All right. AMC up 1.7%, GME up 1.2%, Tesla up 3.8%. Gunning for that new all-time high. DWAC 95%. That is crazy. That is absolute. Now I'm curious. I want to see what kind of social media he's coming up with. Is it going to be like Trump University where it sucks, or is it actually going to be a non-Big Brother, non-big tech social media where we're not like, I don't know, selling all of our data and everyone's like breathing down our neck about everything we say or do? I can honestly see it being both ways. And okay, I get it. I fully get it. I get that whenever you talk about politics, it's divisive, and I think everyone should be informed. I implore you to be informed, and I implore you to use your skills of critical thought to develop a in-depth opinion of who you like or you don't like. But it's just people are so divisive. And if you want to be divisive, okay, cool, whatever. Be divisive, live your life how you want to live your life, but don't let that spill over into the world of you making money. If you dislike Trump, which I'm assuming 50% of you in here right now dislike him, well, that doesn't mean bet against the stock that might make you a lot of money. And that doesn't mean if it's a good company, hey, money is money. It doesn't matter how you got that money in the world of the stock market. Now, if you like Trump, the exact opposite can be said. Don't just buy into it because Trump's in it. What if it sucks? Don't let your political biases get in the way of you making a good decision, or kind of fog your vision of making a bad decision. Just be careful. Just do the DD and try to take your political opinions out of it. I know many people who in 2016 absolutely hated that Trump got elected. Absolutely hated it. Market's crashing. We're not going to do it. You know what the market did? It ripped. I know people who absolutely hated that Biden got elected. They're like, he's going to ruin the economy. We're going down. You know what the market did? It ripped. So like I've seen people got burned on every side of the spectrum. So when it comes to the money, when it comes to the market, don't just be like, I like this person, I dislike this person. Don't do that. Like I've seen literally multiple six figures from all the people I know of like having such a staunch political opinion that they couldn't see what the market was doing. Don't let it cloud you like that. It's just not worth it. And now I know a lot of you, my mods are going haywire. My mods are like, man, why does he bring this up? People go haywire. Mods, I know that I started that one. So if you just want to let it rip, feel free, because people are not heeding my advice and they're saying like that they have to like trade on this and I like this person or I hate this person. Come on. Like, is your comment, do you think a comment on social media, especially a YouTube live stream, a Twitch live stream, a Rumble live stream, do you think a comment has ever actually changed someone's mind? Be like, well, I was going to vote for this one, but man, I saw a really good comment on that stream the other day. I think I'm going to the other party. Like, come on, folks. Come on. It's never happened that way. You're commenting your hardcore political opinions in almost a selfish manner. You're just like trying to get it, like, this is now off my chest. Good. I let the world know who I agree with. Like, if you want, okay, cool. But just understand, like, no one's ever had their mind changed in an internet argument. It's never happened. Not once. All right. And now my mods. This is what my mods train for. They're like, these are the moments where they're like, they sharpen their blades all night. They're like, we're getting ready for war. Oh man. I like when I see one name and all mods like time them out simultaneously. Like that person had to do something bad. They're like, yep, timeout. I'm like, come on. Where are we at? AMC 4136, GME 186. Both got rejected at obvious resistance. 4185, haven't marked out. 190 on GME. Both got rejected right there. Tesla, we're in striking distance of a new all-time high. Like I said, it was not in any form that impressive of a call on my end to say we're going to hit a new high this year. I don't think it's impressive. I hope we made some money off of it, but it wasn't like some like Oracle style play. Like it was pretty obvious where Tesla was going. Matt Kohrs 2024. I just want to run for mayor of like some small rural town. Just like, I just want to really get in there, like a town of like 100 people. And that's where I see my political career going. Shout out King Magnetic. King Magnetic, just so you know, I was literally looking at like one of your shirts this morning. I was trying to find a different shirt and I found yours. Great shirt. All right. I ended the poll. Did it come up? End poll. I want you guys to see. Let's see the poll results. Where are we at? All right. Yes, I'd pay commissions, 59%. 60%. No, I want to trade for free, 40. So, hey, the number is swaying. When I did this a couple months ago, it was like 80% I want to trade for free. And now we're seeing that drop in half to 40. And 60% of people are saying, you know what? For being fully transparent, I'd happily pay a commission. Interesting. That doesn't add up. We had votes lost in the dark pool. I like it. I like synthetic votes. Naked short votes. We only 99% was counted. YouTube hid 1% of votes from us. And they're like, no, you can't see where this 1% is coming from. A recount. Oh, man. I like it. We had undervoting. Under reporting. We didn't see not all votes counted. We need to stop the count. Oh man, I like it. DWAC still crushing it. IWM coming down a little bit. Oh, where's the futures at on the Russell? The old Russell. RTY Z21. Z is the contract run. Well, Z21 is technically the contract run, just so before someone is asking me about futures and the contract stuff. All right. So DWAC, whatever this SPAC is, crushing it. I'm going to spend some time diving into like what this is and isn't, just so I can properly speak about it. AMC, where are we at? So we know IWM's taking a break. The Qs are just ripping higher, and the SPY is just ripping higher. The SPY, almost an all-time high, $2 away, $1.50 away from a literal all-time high. Now, maybe I took too many crazy pills this morning, but does anyone think that that's weird for me to say we are less than 0.5% away from an all-time high? Does anyone argue that our economy is essentially the best economy we've ever had, period, bar none? Seems like a weird disconnection in my mind. Not really adding up in old Matty Kohrs' noggin right here. Where else are we at? All right, folks. So exciting open, kind of calm now. Things are still pretty much in the green. Like we're not seeing red. Like we had a nice green and like now we're taking a breather. So overall, whether you're watching stocks and or crypto, I think I'm at the point where it's more of let's wait, see if we make that nice bounce and start to spin into the like market close for the day. Just so you know, I will be on with Charles Payne, the OG Silverback, today. So if you want to check that out, I'm sure someone will be streaming it, or if you want to watch Fox directly. And then right after that, I will be back on this stream for Power Hour. So I'm going on Silverback, Charles Payne. We're talking about what we're going to talk about. Then I will be streaming today from 3 to 4. And shout out to the people in the Discord. I'll try to make some time and come hang out with you as well so we can talk about what is and isn't happening. Overall, Thank you for the support. Look for support to be found and look for the charts. Look at the MACD. Look for the momentum to start to build across the board today as we go into close. That's the main thing I will be looking for. And also look for Tesla to make an all-time high. I hope it happens when I'm streaming. I want to share that moment with all of you. But overall, thank you for the support. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I will see you at 3 p.m. Eastern today for a Power Hour stream. And as always, from me and Cher, best of luck in the markets.